Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Before we take action on the next item, there is an ordinance that includes all of the addresses and all of the recommendations. And so, if the desire, whatever the motion is from council as we move forward, can do the motion to, yep, we do need to waive the first reading. And then to the motion to adopt the ordinance to amend the zoning map. Madam City Clerk, or you're there, can you pull up the, ordinance just so it'll be easier for council to just read the title of the ordinance to be able to make the motion? Can we get a motion to waive the first reading?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to waive the first reading.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded that we waive the first reading. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And the title of the ordinance is long, which is why I'm asking them to pull it up. It'll be easier to make the motion. No, I don't have it up on the right computer. I was about to say I have it on my screen. See if my screen works. There we have it. Yep. Item 8. Last document. There we go. All right, is there a motion? Go ahead, Councilman Bailey.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the amended ordinance, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of East Point by rezoning property located at 1025 Cleveland Avenue, 1065 Cleveland Avenue, number 2023 RZ-004-0 from M1 by rezoning I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on, medical institutional to C1 neighborhood commercial district with concurrent variance number 2022V-001-10 with the following associated zoning petition S 2022RZ-002-10 rezoning from R1A urban residential district to C1 neighborhood commercial district at 2684 Jewel Street and 2022RZ-003-10 rezoning from MI medical institutional district to C1 neighborhood commercial district at 1081 East Cleveland Avenue.
Is there a second, Councilman Butler?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember Cummings?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one question. I was looking at the, I know how hard it'll be to pull the actual map back up. The drive-through, so does that come in on that side street now? Yeah, that one.
You can
So I
see
know you make the
the
entrance.
drive-through actually starts behind the building.
Right.
So you would be able to enter, quite frankly, any of the entrances and make your way to that drive-through. But the drive-through itself starts that area right there is where the drive-through actually starts.
Yeah, I
So
see it starts there, so you'll make entrance to that on Blunt, that's Blunt Street on that side
you
street.
could, or you could come in
Still
off
come
of
in from the front
Cleveland
off
and go
Cleveland
through the parking lot, because now, because of the double drive-through, you'll be able to go through the parking
Okay.
lot to get to the drive-through instead of be in the drive-through while in the parking lot.
Okay, that's it. I just couldn't see. it
Thank you.
before. Thank you.
Councilmember Butler.
Madam Mayor, I did have a question, but Marie Terry says she supported, so I think I'm gonna hold my question.
Okay, I don't see any other lights. All those in, do I have a motion to approve? Yeah, she just read it, a long one. Yep, sure did. And it's been seconded by Councilmember Butler. Great, I just want to make sure. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Richards, for being an amazing partner with the city of East Point and this expansion. What's the timeline? That wasn't in this
I believe at the
work session.
work
You did kind of give
session,
us a range, right?
probably late this year, we'd get under construction, and construction takes
That's
22
right. I
to
remember
26 weeks,
he said
depending upon
that.
the weather. Is that about 6
Yeah, he
months?
said about 23 weeks, but 20, maybe 26. I remember now.
It
Well,
just
I just
depends
wanted
on,
one on the record tonight for those who may be
yes, ma'am.
watching.
And we're already working with staff to expedite the permitting and review process for that.
So maybe by summer 2024. Okay. Hopefully. That's the
That's the
goal.
goal.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you all so
much.
much. Thank you for your patience. All righty. I think that now takes us to public comments, Madam City Clerk. Oh, nope, it doesn't. I have item number 7, the text amendment. Can we get a motion to open the public hearing? So moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Mr. King, the public hearing is open. We'll start with a brief presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members. Our Planning and Community Development Director, Ms. Kimberly Smith, will give an overview of this particular item. Kimberly?
Thank Thank you, City Manager King. Kimberly Smith, Planning and Community Development Director. In reference to item number 7 on our agenda this evening, it is pertaining to our permit issuance streamline campaign that we're diligently working on with the community and our staff. This is known as case number 2023 TA-001-02. It is a text amendment, and the applicant is the City of East Point, and this is a request to amend ordinance Part 10, Zoning and Development, Chapter 3, Building Regulations, Article 8, Building Code to repeal bond requirements, including but not limited to Section 10-3004, registration, bond, and correction of code violations, and Section 10-3004.1, code compliance bond and exceptions, and Section 10-3005, penalties. In reference to this item, this is a requirement of all contractors, property owners, when they come in to pull any type of trades permit, whether it's plumbing, electrical, or mechanical, they have to have some sort of bond from the City of East Point. And this is in addition to state requirements and state code prior to, or in addition to having their certifications with the state. It's a $10,000 bond or a $25,000 bond that each applicant who comes to pull a permit has to provide for the City of East Point. Just to give some context on how this has, or how this will help us streamline the permit issuance process, based on permits that have been issued from 2018 to 2023, and this is a fiscal year calculation, we've issued approximately 18,732 permits in that time span. Within that time span, only one request to exercise a permit, to exercise a bond request by a homeowner has been submitted to our office, and that's out of 18,732 permits over a 5-year period. There may have been a time, sometime in the past, where this may have been needed, but based on these numbers, it's just something that is very onerous to applicants, and it doesn't appear to be a need at this time. This is just showing other support for why this bond request requirement should be repealed from our ordinance. Based on an average 7 out of 8 trade permits that come in to pull permits, 7 out of 10 are denied on their first time submitting their application because they're either unaware of this requirement. And so right off the beginning, 70% of all contractors, homeowners that come into our office are getting denied because they do not have this bond. And they have an option. They can either get the additional bond for City of East Point, or they can contact the homeowner to get a homeowner authorization waiver. And this is after they've probably secured a contract to do the work. So it's a very onerous process, as we stated, and it's impacting 70% of all applicants that are coming in to pull trades permits. So just wanted to give you context about how it's impacting the city, the contractors. I know that you all may receive many, many calls about how the timeline of what it takes to get a permit, and this is one of the lowest hanging fruits that we can think of to have immediate impact on our community. And I'll take any questions.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the text amendment repealing the bond requirement? Anyone who would like to speak in favor of the text amendment? Anyone who would like to speak in favor? Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition of the text amendment? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition of the text amendment? Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Can I get a motion to
Madam
close the
Mayor,
public hearing?
I'm sorry, excuse me for interrupting.
Go
Madam Mayor, I
ahead.
make the motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Madam, can I get a motion to open the floor for discussion of possible action? Only quickly so we can get the city clerk to come pull up item number B while we're doing the motion to waive the public, the first, no, I open the floor for discussion and possible action because I think Ms. Smith, did you have a comment? We could do it during the discussion. Let's take the motion to waive the first reading.
May I make the motion to waive the first reading?
It's been moved and properly seconded that we waive the first reading. Madam City Clerk, did you get the second? I know you're helping out with that. So the motion was by Councilmember Butler, second was by Councilmember Bailey to waive the first reading. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Yep.
You know, I was about to say.
It just popped in my head. We don't have 6 votes tonight. We have to have, what are you gonna say, is it a super majority of those present?
A supermajority of those present, but what I was gonna also say is under 10/22/19, I think I'm supposed to read that public hearing notice for zoning changes, even if the text of it is, or is that the practice?
So there are different rules for the public hearing, for a text amendment. We've already held the public hearing though. So, and there was nobody in favor or against. We could read them into the record just so that they're a part of the record, as to what those procedures are. Guess we could reopen the public hearing if somebody else wanted to. I'll just say that for the record. So yes, no, I was thinking about the
vote.
waiving the first reading, but it's
Right.
majority of those present. Okay. You can go ahead and read where am I at? I'm in the middle of waiving the first reading. We just waived the first reading. You're gonna read the rule for the zoning, and then we will move forward. And on a motion regarding the ordinance in discussion, I'll go back to Ms. Smith if she had any comments. Go ahead,
And I
interim city attorney.
apologize to the body. Public hearing and notice requirements before adopting any change to the zoning maps or text of the zoning ordinance. The city council shall hold a public hearing following the public hearing by the Planning and Zoning Commission where a recommendation was made on the petition. Public hearings before the city council shall be conducted as follows. The presiding officer will call for a motion to open and close the meeting. The presiding officer or his or her designee will introduce a proposed zoning amendment before the city council. Staff will then be called upon to present the planning commission's recommendation and summarize reports. Persons both favoring and opposing the proposed amendment will then be provided an opportunity to address council. The applicant, if any, will be entitled to speak first, followed by any other speakers in favor for a proposed total of 15 minutes. Those who oppose the proposed zoning will have the same authority to speak for 15 minutes. By majority vote of council may increase the total time for each side. If there's more than one speaker for a side, the presiding officer may limit the time allotted to each speaker. The zoning applicant may reserve a portion of his or her allotted time for rebuttal. Speakers must adhere to the rules of decorum. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So, what'd you say? I appreciate it. And so the public hearing is closed on the text amendment. Um, is there anyone that still wanted to speak? We could reopen the public hearing. Can we, get a motion to reopen? That's, I mean, that's more protection on the public. I mean, I don't think it would. Hmm. Right, yeah. Can we get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor, I can't get it. May I pass a motion to reopen the floor for a public hearing regarding?
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. You can come forward. The public hearing is reopened.
Hey, how you guys doing? I think I wanna. It's okay. Thank you. And it would be on the studio square. Good evening, everyone, council members, Madam Mayor. My name is Jamish Hunter, and I am owner of Studio Square off of 3056 Bayard Street, Suite 700. I'm up here today just to kind of tell you all about what's been happening. I've been owning this location for the past 2 years and successfully been running business. Um,
Is this for general public comments or for public statements on this text amendment
Maybe public statements on this particular issue.
of the bond requirement?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. No,
So,
not.
it's been, we've been here for a minute, but we haven't gotten to public comments yet.
Oh, I'm
Is she signed up for
sorry.
public comments? She signed, so, yeah, no problem.
Not yet.
It's on us. You're fine.
Okay.
A few more minutes. We're gonna get through this.
Okay.
And then I think we go to public comments. And
All
then you'll
right.
be our first speaker.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Should I just leave this over here or take it? Okay.
Chief? I know. Later. Motion to close. Anyone else? This the public hearing is reopened. Anyone else want to speak in favor of the text amendment to remove the bond requirement? Anybody want to speak in favor? Anybody want to speak in opposition of the text amendment to remove the bond requirement? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Motion to close the reopened public hearing.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion to close the public hearing.
So moved is the second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Madam City Clerk, we need the ordinance back up so that, it's another kind of long title. Want to make sure we get it right in the motion. Only fine. All right, is there any further action on this item?
Madam Mayor, I think this, my reading says this is gonna take a supermajority of council to actually pass this. Not a
So that's gonna
supermajority of
impact
those,
this one and the one that we
the one,
previously just had.
right, the one that you previously did. Because I don't believe that, according to what I'm reading, it's gonna require a supermajority of not the members that are present, but the entire body.
What,
Let me
what
put,
rule are you looking at? I was trying to pull it up. I can't remember if it's in the charter or our council rules.
it's in charter. Not apologize, I had it.
No problem.
Under 2202, which is rules of council.
You're in the ordinance.
Let me get in there, apologize, guys. It's under Rule 6, it says a quorum for the transaction of business shall consist of a majority of the members of the city council and the mayor or 6 council members. No council member may be compelled to remain more than 30 minutes, like, but, so that's the quorum part. I'm getting to the vote part. Members recognize,
It's in the ordinance, approval of ordinance.
attendance voting. I just had it.
Adoption of ordinance, it's
Adoption
probably
of
in
ordinance.
16.
There it is. Adoption, or every adopted ordinance shall become effective upon the date every proposed ordinance shall be introduced in writing. Ordinance, each ordinance shall be read. There it is.
Council members present.
Right, council member. So it says each ordinance shall be read by title two, and read by affirmative vote of no less than 2/3 of the council members present at any meeting of the council duly convened at which a quorum is present, provided however any zoning ordinance, assessing ordinance, or any other ordinance requiring a public hearing shall not be finally adopted until after such ordinance has been properly advertised in a public hearing therein. So it's, unless we,
Council members present.
it's
I think
council
we're
members
good.
present. It's council members present. Madam Mayor, my fault.
Yep, yeah, we're good. I just wanted to make sure, because when I saw your light, I was like, is it that? And then I was trying to find it while conducting the meeting, but we're good. It's 2/3 of council members present when there's a quorum, so it's 6 for the quorum, which we have, and then all 5 of the council members voted, so that's more than 2/3 present. Thank you. Where am I? We waived the first reading. Now we need to adopt the ordinance. And the title is on screen. You want to do it in discussion or before?
I'm not sure. I just
Okay.
wanted to make a comment for the record that the planning commission recommended approval.
Oh, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion that we approve the ordinance which states an ordinance to amend Chapter 3 Building Regulations, Article A, Building Code, Section 10-3001, Building Code Procedural Requirements, 10-3003, Definitions, 10-3004, Registration Bond and Correction of Code Violations, and 10-3007, Certificate of Occupancy, to repeal Section 10-3004.1, Code Compliance Bond Exceptions.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Councilmember Butler.
Yes. Madam, Ms. Smith, before we pass this ordinance, I know that my colleague, Councilwoman Renee, had some issues. So could I ask you a couple of questions so you could get rid of those issues for her? One of the issues that she mentioned was the protection of senior citizens. And so she thought that maybe having this extra protection would help protect senior citizens. Could you tell us how senior citizens will or will not be protected based upon us drafting this ordinance?
And thank you, Councilman Butler. Senior citizen and all community members are automatically protected because the state requires that any certified contractor, whether mechanical, electrical, or plumbing, have a certification and have bonds and insurances. So in order for you to get a state license, you have to have some sort of bond and insurance in place in order for your certification to be issued from the state.
And so just as a point of clarification, what the city of East Point did was impose that there was a second bond in addition to the bond and insurance required by the state.
That is correct.
And so by repealing this, it should cut down on our permitting time based upon 7 out of 10 of the applications were rejected, thus putting it back in the pool.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, Madam.
Yeah, along those same lines, and I know generally laws don't apply retroactively, but I don't know how many permits we have pending, and this was put in for administrative protections. And I don't know, this is in my area of law, I don't know whether or not, but like, I know it goes forward from tonight forward, but what about the ones that are already in process? They would have either had to do the waiver by the property owner or actually have the bond. Is there a way for for us to deal with all of the applications that are currently pending and moving forward?
Madam Mayor, I actually believe there is, under normal ex post facto law, if you can't go back to have something retroactively applied. But if indeed they're in the pending status, they haven't gone through the status, excuse me, through the process under planning and community development, I would imagine, based on what Madam Ms. Smith said last week, is that they were going to go back anyway to verify that each applicant had coverage. So under this new policy, they would be going back and verifying that anyway, which would alleviate that issue that you just raised.
That they're gonna go back and check to make sure they have the state required bond,
Right.
not the city imposed.
That's correct.
But since it's pending and hasn't been a final action taken, all of the ones that are pending should fall under the new law as well.
I would imagine so, because they're gonna go back to make that application.
Okay,
To make that,
I just wanted to make sure, like, 70% is way high, and if we can address that immediately, I don't know how many we might have in that status. I didn't think to ask that at the work session, so we would know tonight, but that's just my concern, like, that we allow this practice to take effect immediately with all pending applications. All those that are closed won't be subject to this, but thank you, interim city attorney. Thank you to Ms. Smith and our city manager, Mr. King, for removing it. I feel like we need to do a press release. I'm being facetious, but like this is things that some of the things that we get complaints about quite a bit. Even if we post it on social media, so we need to let the development community and business. We need to let people know that this is no longer required in the city. I don't know if this was one of the only factors, but I'm sure is part of some decisions. So I think we need to communicate that this is not in place because we were unique in that way. And so I'm not saying how that gets done, but we need to share that this is no longer a requirement in some way, be it. Well, the businesses aren't necessarily impacted. I don't know how we get it out to the development community. I'm rambling right now, but I think we should let people know. Any other discussion? I don't see any other lights on. I do have the motion to adopt Councilmember Butler in second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Public comments. And I know we've had some people here patiently waiting. We might want to look at, I think it's rule, I closed my computer. The one, I think it's rule 6 or 7. It talks about the order of business and maybe move public comments up on our agenda. And moving forward, um, that's just a thought. Madam City Clerk, do we have any public comments this evening? I think you said we had 5 earlier.
Yes, I have 5 public
Okay.
comments.
Chapter 2, Section 2-2002 BB, Rule 28. The public may speak during the public comment section of the agenda. Speakers must complete a comment form prior to the start of the meeting. Subject may include any subject of choice. There will be a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. Speakers that have signed up to speak may give all or a part of their time up to 3 minutes to another speaker for a total of 6 minutes of speaking time. Speakers may address the council only once during this time of the agenda. Speakers must identify themselves and their address prior to speaking. Questions from the speakers may not be addressed during the public speaking section of the agenda. East Point residents will have priority over other speakers. There will be a total of not more than 60 minutes for the public speaking section of the agenda. Speakers may only address the presiding officer. Speakers shall observe all rules of decorum. No debate, disrespect, or obscenity shall be tolerated. The presiding officer shall rule any such individual out of order that fails to comply with the foregoing. Madam City Clerk, you may call our first speaker.
Up first, we have Ms. Jamesh Hunter.
Yes. Oh, sorry about that.
I'm gonna have to start the clock.
Okay. 3 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah. Can you like move it down for me? Okay. Yeah, hold on.
You can go ahead and start.
All right, I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. Again, my name is Jamish, and I'm with Studio Square, and we're located off of 3056 Bayard Street in East Point. Um, Recently, we've been operating there for the past 2 years, but recently we've been running into a lot of interruptions just from the East Point Police Department in regards to the way that I'm trying to conduct business. So the problem, can you go to the next slide so I can? Just matching. There you go. Oh, it's not matching. All right, so yeah, we're located in a C2 zoning district, and I'm requesting that something is done in regards to this issue because what's coming up is I'm trying to shoot a music video, and once I try to shoot it, East Point Police come shut it down prior to even anyone coming inside the building or letting any business being conducted. Now, what they're telling me is I need a special event permit. So I go look up special event program that's designed for outdoor events mainly or mostly outdoor. I'm not doing that. This is within the confines of my business. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly do I need. I move fast forward, I go to the Department of Planning and Community, and it becomes very apparent that I am legally operating in the way that I'm supposed to because there was no change due to my business license. They're all active, permits are up to date. So once again, we try to have this music video. East Point Police come back out, shut us down, and say, "Hey, look, you need a special events permit." Once again, now I'm at the wit's end with this because my business is deteriorating, just being on hold, not knowing exactly what I can and cannot do. And go to the next slide for me. And just a little bit about who we are. We are a music photography film studio, and we are located in East Point. We're trying to be an incubator that propel raw and real talent within the community, and just making sure we're out there for those who are in that entertainment niche. Like I said, we've been here since June of 2021. I graduated at Brandeis University in Boston, Massachusetts. I worked at Comedy Central. And so I always had a love for film, photography, and music. And it was a dream to do this, open this back up in a place where I actually grew up at. I went to Brookview Elementary as well as Victor Charter. So this was something that I felt like would be close to home for me, and this would be great. But this dream just has instantly turned into a nightmare, not knowing, what to do in this situation. And this is my co-partner, Mr. David Evans. So, yeah.
Thank you for your
Hold on
comment.
just a moment. The timer just went off. Is he the second? Mr. Evans the second?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So you signed up to speak during our public comment section of the agenda, and I read the rules at the beginning, so you only have 3 minutes.
So
Maximum to
we
speak,
both would have to sign up.
in order to
Right.
have 6 minutes. So if you both signed up, then you each will have 3 minutes, or one could give the time to the other.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
thank
right.
you guys for hearing us out, and I appreciate y'all.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
I've been saying, do we solve the issue?
So,
I mean, you
so
tell
as I
them.
read in the rules, we can't address comment questions during this section of the agenda, but we do have our city manager here, our interim city attorney here, as well as our police chief, and the planning community development director who've listened to the concerns. And so we'll be following up with them to, as it relates to what's going on. We do a lot of filming and stuff in the city, so I'm not aware specifically of every step of the process, but our staff is here and has heard your concern, and so,
Okay. Thank you all.
all right. You can call the next speaker.
Up next, we have Dr. Martin Rogers.
Dr. Martin Rogers, Heritage Parkway Subdivision. First, I want to publicly thank Chief Buchanan, Mr. King, the attorney, Councilmember Shropshire Renee, and the mayor for asking all of the right questions last week and taking a stance on the issues that have plagued Heritage Park for the last 4 months. I especially want to thank the 911 and non-emergency operators as well for their hard work throughout this process. Without the work of local law enforcement, we would not have traction on the issue of squatters and the victims, who include people that were bamboozled out of their money, my neighbors who live in constant fear of the vacant home next door or across the street. Accountability, the obligation or willingness to accept responsibilities for one's own actions. I'm here tonight with another request. The state of Georgia has a nuisance law, which is OCGA 41-1-1, Title 41. A nuisance is anything that causes hurt, inconvenience, or damage to another, and the fact that the act done may otherwise be lawful shall not keep it from being a nuisance. Resi Homes is a nuisance to Heritage Park. If an investigation is done on the number of times the police have been called to the area, the recorded video footage, and the number of interactions that the law enforcement has had with the tenants, this is a nuisance, and city resources should not be depleted to manage the properties of Resi Homes. They, along with other landlords and property managers, must be held accountable for the impact these unmanaged properties bring to our communities. And as of tonight at 9:06 p.m., another break-in occurred at 4797. With that being said, the city of East Point can file a nuisance claim against Resi Homes in Superior Court. Other things to consider are, Resi Homes is operating as a business in the city. Do they have a business license to rent out single-family homes as apartments? Are they following the laws and regulations of the city? This corporation has moved into my community, and we've been held hostage due to their blatant negligence. Resi Homes has robbed us of our American dream. Once the squatters are removed from the property, what is the plan for the city of East Point? Resi Homes should be made to secure their property with bars and an ever-changing checks and balance system. Lastly, I want to thank the East Point Fire Department for taking action on the temporary replacement of the fire station number 3 and 5, which is an additional plus to the southernmost part of the city. And Councilmember Robertson, who is not here tonight, thank you so much for the comic books for my class. We thoroughly enjoyed them. Thank you. Have a good night.
Up next, we have Ashley. All right, Miss Marie Terry.
Here I am once again. Good evening. This is going to be good night, though. Marie Terry, 2855 Seven Road. As y'all know, I'm known as the Click Fix Queen. and the videos. And you know, one thing y'all did, that tool that you guys gave, whoever made that program with that tool, it's a wonderful tool. It's very wonderful. And we was told when we see something, say something. And this is what I put out there in the community. And when I go out in my community and click fix any area, be it drug area, be it grass, be it blighted property, be it a sewage draining, I'm gonna report it. And I hope and pray that it get to the right department. Don't be mad at me when I report this, because this is the tool that you God gave me to use. And I'm gonna use this tool. But in me using that tool, I went to one of the wards, Ward B, Eden Park, and I actually click fixed and click fixed and click fixed and videoed 1277 Mercer. The house was half. Miss Dewberry, I went down, I talked. She was very good. She was very good on getting 1277 Mercy done with. He had to go through court. Y'all took it through the courts. In the process of me click fixing, we got it done. The residents of Egan Park, some of them got in with the click fix. I visited a lot of their neighborhood meetings. But lo and behold, I will not stand before any of you guys and be called as a resident of this city, not a politician, okay? I mean, we're residents, we're not politicians, we are residents. That when we see something, we're gonna tell it, and we, in order for you guys to get the job done. Okay, 1277 Mercy was one thing that I did. But to be in the group meet at every ward, Ward A, Ward B, Ward C, Ward D, then for the resident to be called a politician or a wannabe politician, no, that is not what I am. Councilmember Josetta Bailey. You know, I don't like being called that. I am a resident of this city, and I want to be treated as a resident. I use the tool of this city to help in our neighborhood, be it your neighborhood, be it Ward A, Ward B, Ward C, and Ward D. I will not let the resident be called politicians. Politicians, they act for something. A resident, I want something done. So I don't like being called that in the group. I don't like that. I did my job. I used the tool that was given to me by the city council, and that is to let the police department, public works, sanitation department know we have a problem here. And I'm gonna continue to click fix in a resident capacity only. So please, please, Councilmember Bailey, please stop it, you know? Because, hey, I'm for the residents, I'm not for you politicians. Everybody sitting up there, you're politicians because you want something. No, I want some action. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you about yourself and what you're supposed to be doing for the residents of this city. Thank you.
All right, up next, we have Miss Leslie O'Neill. And I do not see her, so these are all the public comments we have this evening.
All right. I would say thank you to everyone who spoke tonight, but I think they are now all gone. So we will move forward with the consent agenda. Can we get a motion to adopt consent agenda items 9 through 23? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. We are now we have no agenda items this evening. So we're now at comments from council. And let me just ask so I can prepare myself. Do we have any executive session items from the city manager?
No.
Interim city attorney, it must be on you.
Really? Really? Yes. I apologize. One quick litigation and one potential real estate.
All right, one litigation, one real estate. Anything from council? We'll go to, oh, you got comments from council? Oh, we'll go to comments from council. Councilmember Butler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to say thank you to all of those who came and spoke today. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Swain. The things that you have done for this city in terms of valuing all cultures is evident. And I just want to let you know that. I want to take this time out to say happy birthday to my grandmother who turned 103 on the 12th. And so I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. And I want to say a special thank you to my parents who are her primary caregivers. And so one of the things that was said, we're fortunate enough that we have a nurse to come in 5 out of 7 days per week. And she said something that struck me, and I want all the people to hear this. There are some people, well, what she said was, it's evident my grandmother is loved because of the level of care that is provided. So I wanted to acknowledge that and acknowledge my mom, who does a lot for my grandmother, and that some of our elderly are not well cared for. But it's an honor and it's an honor to be able to spend that time with my grandmother and to give her that care. So love the ones that you have and love them on them hard. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any other comments from council? Councilmember Cummings?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's gonna be hard to speak, but I did want to thank everyone for coming out to the council meeting, for those that are here, that were actually here in city council chambers and those that are watching online. I too would like to wish a happy birthday to my son. He turned 16 years old today. And just thinking about 16, my 16-year-old son and the situation that my 17-year-old went through last week. And also I want to make sure that we continue to lift up a prayer for Mr. Ralph Y'all, the young man that was, he was going to pick his siblings up. He's in Minnesota, was going to pick his siblings up. Went to the wrong house, the very next block over, rang the doorbell. An elderly 80-year-old white man opened the door, looked at him, and shot him in the head, and shot him also in his shot him in his arm. This young man, they say he is recovering, but he does have a long road ahead of him. But just to make sure that, just as Councilman Butler said, we have to love on our kids, love on all of our family members, but especially our young black boys, but just all of our kids in general. But this was a young man, and then when I read the news article on this kid, this was a gifted child, a musical prodigy, National Honor Society, doing extremely well in school, well versed, and for someone that was just going to pick up his twin siblings, and for this to happen, and within 24 hours, this man was released. They said they let him go back home. So when we talk about those injustices that are still, with all that we've gone through since 2020 and to present day, and to still see things like this happening, we got to do better. I yield, Madam Mayor.
Any other council comments? Going once, going twice, gone. Thank you to everyone who came to speak tonight, who, as well as those who are watching. Thank you all for being engaged. Again, thank you to Mr. Swain, um, for the rich diversity in our programming, and events, and celebrating our different cultures within our city in meaningful ways. Looking forward to the Pride Month celebration that you're working on, as well as Hispanic Heritage Month. We have Juneteenth coming up. So a number of different events. We did a film screening last year. I'm not sure we're gonna do for Asian Americans this year. But thank you for being comprehensive in our celebration of our different cultures and ethnicities within our city. Um, the Healthy Point is going on. There's still time to register. It is always open registration. Received the question about how do people get their passport to be able to participate in the many different activities that we have. So either coming here to City Hall, there's some here, but also one of the main areas, because a lot of our programming is happening at Jefferson Park Recreation Center. You can go there to pick up the passport. You can always sign up online. But the passport and the bags and T-shirts can be picked up at Jefferson Park Recreation Center. And we also have some passports at the Bowden Center, because you can, any activity, any class at the Bowden Center, up to one per week, qualifies toward earning Healthy Point incentives. And so definitely want to ensure we continue to provide multi-generational opportunities to prioritize health in our city and to be healthy together on our health journey. I'm really excited about the mental health classes that we included this year. We had one last month, and the second one was this past Friday on April 14th, and the last one will be, I believe, Friday, May 12th, at 6:30, no, 6 o'clock p.m. at the annex. So, number of activities, run walks, a whole bunch of different activities. So, open, register anytime, pick up passports either at City Hall or at the Jefferson Park Recreation Center. I believe that's all I have for this evening. Um, and I guess we can now go into executive, the farmer's market, Healthy Point Farmer's Market is on Saturday, and the East Point Farmer's Market is on Wednesday. The Healthy Point is promoting both farmers markets within our city. So there's two opportunities on a Wednesday as well as Saturday to be able to get locally grown produce at our market, as well as some artisan activities. I know at the East Point Market, they have East Point Eats and Beats, I believe, on Wednesdays, and have music with that. Maybe the Eats and Beats is actually at Oz. Yeah, that's a different activity. But I know the East Point Farmers Market has had some music on Wednesdays at their market. So let's continue to support these initiatives and activities as we continue to build our local food ecosystem and help empower our community. There'll be more information coming out about the compost now, the citywide composting program that I think just launched. And so there's more information, just so much happening. So let's continue to connect as a community and grow and continue to grow together. We had one litigation, one real estate for executive session. Can I get a motion to recess into executive session for one litigation, one real estate?
So move.
Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. We're in recess.
Information was got, we just get a warrant for him if he left, but we got one of them in custody, right?
A motion to reconvene. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? In the matter of Rydell Daniels versus City of East Point, can we get a motion to authorize the city attorney to proceed as discussed in the executive session? Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? We not on air? Okay. I forgot to check. All those opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve executive session meeting minutes. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor? Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Councilmember Gordon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My sincere apologies, colleagues. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Stacy Johnson to the BIDA board.
Moved and properly seconded that we appoint Stacy Dunson to the BIDA board. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Anybody else got any other appointments? All right, Councilmember Cook, it's on you.
Quick review and a very unusual meeting tonight. However, we have covered the entire agenda, therefore I make a motion that we adjourn.
Been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? Good night, East Pointers.